Well, welcome back. This is our first doubleheader, although the first one barely counts. Shit. This wasn't really on the schedule, but we have a experienced, talented, smart podcaster in the house, Gabriel.
Thank you, sir.
Host of the What Up Though podcast, another collaboration with the very talented Bet Augusta.
Yes.
So, fucking Lions, man. I mean, shit, you've been calling every pick tonight. You like the Sewell pick, I think. I mean, look, we outlined it earlier. I did because I got a big mouth. Like, it's fine. I'm not going to throw a parade for it. I think we all knew this was a very, very likely scenario, especially if you take the trade down out of the equation.
Yeah.
I mean, do you agree with me? The trade down would have been better, assuming Patriots, which they worked out for them. They got their guy just sitting on their ass. It always works out for the Patriots somehow. But if there was a world where Patriots offer you that pick 15 and they offer you a first-round pick next year to move up to 7, wouldn't you rather have that than Penei Sewell tonight?
Yeah. Well, first, thank you so much for having me on and the plug. No, I appreciate it. Just let me get that out of the way. It's always better to acquire more picks. That's always the name of the game. Whether, I know it's like the Bill Belichick, like trade back. It's become a little cliche, but really that is how you win the draft. I would be so much more ecstatic if we moved back, got some value, and then picked up whomever went 15th, like maybe a JC Horn or something like that, someone a little bit further back. But as far as the pick, like you said, I'm not doing cartwheels. I'm not screaming from the heavens. For your show's purpose, it would have been better if we picked up Devontae Smith and we could have been on here.
Oh, we would have been bitching.
We would have been going, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with picking the best offensive lineman talent that we've seen in 5 years who's still on the board. He's number one on there. There's nothing wrong with it. It's an A- to an A. Potentially, let's say the guy does blow up. Let's say in 2 years, he's your Trent Williams. He's your Andrew Whitworth, the guy who's just, you can plug there and nothing, you don't have to worry about it. Then it's a complete A+. I mean, if he's that guy, that's worthy of like the first overall.
Correct. Not this year.
No.
I'm not saying he would have been, but in some years, like a franchise offensive tackle, we've seen it. Jake Long, Fisher. I mean, that type of
Orlando Pace,
you go on and on. There's been a bad example, Robert Galloway, who's second overall, but like it's worth that. It is worthy in most years of a number 1, number 2 overall pick. So if you get that at 7, that is an A+. I mean, I talked earlier when I was solo about an hour ago. The only reason I'm not on the A+ train is the state of the rebuild. I think we'll never know.
Right.
I think there was probably some opportunity to trade down, if for no other reason that we saw like 3 trade downs right after.
Literally.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like nobody was trading down in the draft.
Correct.
So there was all sorts of trade downs. So it's not like they weren't getting calls. It's just we don't know exactly what those
and that's what I was going to say. We don't know what they were offered. And a lot of beat writers, though, are saying if there's a surefire Hall of Famer in this draft, this guy is it. Like, as far as can't miss prospects, boom or bust, he has the lowest bust out of anybody. You'd be blown away if this guy was terrible.
Trevor Lawrence, but
possibly Trevor, obviously.
Here's the problem, though. And maybe I'm just a cynical asshole, but I'm tired of the victim blaming of Detroit Lions fans. Like it's even like friendly fire a lot of times in this town. Nobody drives me more nuts than Detroit Lions fans that like shame other Lions fans for not being on board with everything they do. It's like at some
for
point,
being realistic.
Realistic is great, but even if I'm being unrealistically cynical, even if I'm being too harsh, can we forgive some level of being too harsh with this franchise? What more does this fan base have to be subjected to from this absolutely abysmal embarrassment of an organization?
I couldn't agree with you even more. Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah. But just give me some slack. So it's like I get called an asshole all the time on Twitter for a myriad of reasons. I mean, it's good, not just my Lions cynicism, but it's like, well, why can't you, why can't you just give the Lions a break? I'll give them a break when they give me something to give them a break.
Exactly.
It's not. Why is it on me? Like
it should be on the franchise to give you something to not bitch about.
You're right. You don't think that I would love nothing more? Like everyone says I'm such an asshole, which maybe I am. But the Detroit Pistons, Troy Weaver, I've been just singing to the high heavens. I haven't said a bad word about him. I've said nothing but great things.
How could you, though? He hit on 3 first-round picks.
Well, that's the point.
You know what I mean?
But when you do a good job, I say great things.
Weirdly, when you do good things, people say good things about those good things. It's really odd. When you do shit things for 50 fucking years, weirdly, there's going to be a huge fan base that goes, fuck these guys, am I right? Like, what are we doing here?
but that's an element out there where it's like, these Lions fans shaming their brethren. It's like, look, like I was called a real jerk for making fun of the guys doing videos in their car when the Lions won a damaging game against Atlanta, which took them from the third pick to the seventh pick.
Those videos were so terrible.
I was called a terrible person for saying this is stupid.
It is, but because it was stupid, because you're celebrating a meaningless win that literally screwed you more in the draft.
It would have been fun to have the third overall pick. I mean, whatever you think of Sewell, but like, look, here's the thing: the Lions. Yeah, I've been called a cynic about the Dan Campbell thing. I've been very critical of the
You don't want to bite kneecaps off?
You know what? He's an entertaining figure. I like him. I mean, I don't know him personally, but from what I can observe and sense, I like him as a person. Seems like a genuine, likable, great guy. Gotta tell you, I have a lot of genuinely likable, great guys in my life, and I don't want them coaching either. So it
makes sense.
Everyone's like, oh, how could you not like this guy? Well, I can like him, but not as the Lions coach. Why would I like a guy that has absolutely no qualifications to be in the role whatsoever? He hasn't gone through the necessary steps. And the occasional people that can, skip the third grade and go right to fourth, those are savants. Those are
they can color in the lines, man. It's a beautiful thing. I could never.
This guy can't. I mean, he's not known as some schematic whiz. So it's like I've been very, 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 very critical. But I will say, with what we know, good pick. It wasn't my first choice, but it's a good choice.
I mean, and when's the last time you have heard a Lions pick where you're like, good choice? Like in the first round. When's the real last you're like, now there you go? Because Okudah, we weren't saying that. Hockenson, we weren't saying that.
Taylor Decker, I said it. I'm trying to think if there was one more recent. I liked the Decker pick.
Okay, you liked the Decker pick.
I can always speak for myself.
I hated the Jared Davis pick.
Hated it. I agree.
I mean, before Frank Ragnow blew up, I was saying, who the hell was this? But good pick nonetheless.
Hockenson, I hated not because I didn't think he'd be good. I was very clear.
It was the value of it, yeah.
If you're taking a tight end up there, it better be a Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is going to be 5 times the player Hockenson. And now he went a couple picks earlier.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you're going to go top 10, it needs to be, and Hawk's good. Like, Hawk's at a
Pro Bowl. Pro Bowler.
Yeah, Pro Bowl. Yeah, I mean, but he's not 95 catch Tony Gonzalez tight end. I don't think he ever will be. He's very, very good.
Yeah.
You have to be a top 10 all-time tight end.
You got to be changing some games here. You got to be a Gronk, a Kelsey, a Kittle, something like that. Yeah.
And he was a luxury pick. So, but yeah, you're right. I mean, that's a great point. Just going down the line, off the top of my head, I think Taylor Decker was the last one where I was like, okay, good. You like Ragnow, I wasn't a fan of the pick. Again,
at the moment, yeah.
Not because I didn't think he'd be good. It's like, really? A fucking center?
A center from Arkansas?
Yeah,
what the fuck?
It wasn't,
okay, cool, I guess.
yeah. I mean, it's not common that we're like cool with the pick. I just think this team would have been better served trading down if possible. I have a hard time believing that there wasn't a viable option out there. Obviously, we don't know, but let's feel free to speculate. I'm curious for your take on this.
Yeah.
Like, do you think they had a solid, whatever you think, 2 second-round picks to move down or 1 first-round pick, whatever? Do you think that was out there and they eschewed that to take Sewell, if you had to guess? Or do you think there just wasn't a real meaty offer out there?
You know what? There obviously the phones were blowing up. We heard before that even possibly New Orleans was trying to move up from, I think, 28th all the way up to 7th. And that would have been like...
That's not the Patriots at 15.
No, but you would have been talking a hell of a haul. But I really do think... I think they got some calls, but I really think when the best offensive lineman prospect falls in your lap at 7... I think they were like, you know what? These sound good, but I think this is such a can't miss. I think we have to go with this just to make... no one's going to come on any podcast, any radio station and go, what the hell were they doing? No one's going to do that. I think it was just the safest, smartest pick. And I think when they got the calls, it was like, you know what? Let's just stick to what we know. He was probably number 1 on their big board or number 2, maybe after Chase, because I know they maybe wanted to move up to Atlanta to snag him. So maybe once Chase was gone, they were like, you know what? Best player available, typical Lions, and let's go.
I mean, you were in the control room when I went on my little 15-minute sort of first initial reaction.
Sounded great, by the way.
Well, thank you. Well, we have a wonderful production.
We do indeed.
They are not inexpensive, by the way. Not to go double negative on your ass, but Ben sends me a very hefty bill every. So if you're thinking of hiring him away, I hope you have unlimited resources because he's an expensive member of the team.
Yes.
But okay, that aside, you heard what I said. I have not slept on it, but squatted on it for an hour.
Yeah,
I'm exactly where I was 5 seconds after they made the pick. Okay, solid. I'm curious where you land on this. I outlined a couple concerns.
Yeah.
Why it's not an A+. Year off. He's been off for a year. I've only seen that once. It was Mike Williams out of USC. Not saying that's going to happen again.
Right, yeah.
But I'm the Lions fan. I'm the beaten puppy, right?
As you are.
I'm going to internalize that, and that's going to be stewing around every little wound. We're in Sigmund Freud territory. I'm holding on to all the traumas. Okay. Ideally, he wouldn't have not played football in 2 years. So I mean, just ideally, not a deal breaker. Doesn't make the pick a C+.
Yeah,
but it's not ideal.
You want to see more production.
It's a departure from the ideal scenario where he was just mauling guys for the last 10 months.
Correct.
Point number 2, the buzz is out there about maturity issues. Who fucking knows?
What issues did you hear? I'm curious.
Just Google Penei Sewell maturity. There are reports around the program. There wasn't any like, this is what he did. And it was just that his attitude. There's some concerns.
He's just kind of a dipshit.
Kind of a dipshit, and again, I don't know. This is secondhand. These reports are out.
Right. Google says he's kind of a dipshit.
I'm not saying how dare they take it. This isn't like Baker Mayfield where we have fucking tape of the guy. You know what I mean? Like
flipping off Ohio
Johnny
State,
Manziel, doing lines of blow in Vegas. Like that's where there's no speculation there. I said those picks were reckless, especially Manziel at the time because we had hard evidence. There's no hard evidence of Penei Sewell being anything other than a really good football player.
Correct.
So, but that is out there, and I don't think it just falls out of the sky. Not every report is with full merit.
Correct.
When you hear enough stuff out there, it's just, I have to downgrade it a little bit. I'd rather hear the kind of stuff we heard all the last month about Trey Lance, where everybody that's been in the guy's fucking zip code says he's just a world-class guy, and nobody says a bad word about him. Yeah. I'd rather have that. So maturity issues. It's going to be 2 years between games for this fucking guy. And if you want to throw a third thing in there, the fact that I think trading down would have been ideal. But even if you throw
it would have been
those two things, don't I have to downgrade it a little bit?
Yeah, if you bring all that into account, and for me, the only thing that kind of keeps this from an A+, I'm not comfortable with him playing right tackle yet. I need to see what that looks like. He's a pure left tackle. You have Decker, who not a lot of people, he gets a little bit of flack here. He's only given up 2 sacks his entire career being here in 5 years. He's a beast. You put someone like that on the right side who hasn't really played it. Now, good offensive linemen, they say, can play anywhere on the field, and I do believe he's very good. But it's a little because when you move from the left to the right side, it's totally different. Footwork different. Everything is totally different. So I'm not 100% sold if he can be on the right side, which is why I would give this an A- rather than an A+.
Yeah, it's to me A-, B+. Closer to the A-.
I completely agree with that. I say it's perfect right there.
That's a good score.
Which is fine. I mean, what's wrong with an A-?
No, it's a very good result.
What's wrong with an A-?
It'll be interesting to see because this team is so bad.
It's terrible.
But they have one really good unit now, or at least they should. You have Decker and Sewell now at the tackles. Ragnall's like maybe one of the 10 best interior linemen.
I would, he's probably like top 5 at his own position at center.
Crosby's solid. You have
all young.
Jonah Jackson.
Jonah Jackson.
Everybody is, I believe, 26 or under. I think Decker's the old man on there. I think he's 26.
And they're all you have potential multiple All-Pro guys on your line. And your weakest link is still a B+. So,
I agree. You have the potential to have 3 All-Pros on your offensive line.
Right. And this could legitimately be one of the 3 best offensive lines in football. If Sewell, you got to look at Sewell. look, as a prospect, he's one of the most highly regarded just by the metrics, by the Pro Football Focus score.
Pro Football Focus has like have him 98 and like out of 100.
One of the highest ever.
Yeah, it's insane. And if you turn on the tape, the kid's a mauler.
He's a beast.
He's a man amongst boys.
It'll be interesting to see because they should, again, on paper, everyone knows we'll throw in all the caveats.
Yeah.
On paper, they should have not just a good offensive line, but an exceptional.
A very good one. Very good.
Will they finally get the running game solved? Because they have, that's my favorite stat in the world other than the one playoff win in 64 years.
Yeah.
They have not finished in the top half of rushing in the NFL since Barry Sanders retired in 1998.
Well, what, Kerryon Johnson was the last one to get 100 yards since Reggie Bush?
That when they went like 4 years between 100-yard rushers, that was hilarious.
And like they got it against the Patriots, and we're like, yes, we found the guy.
Yeah, and we're told we're cynical assholes for being jaded about this organization.
Well, it's called being realistic.
We have to deal with this. Well, not everyone's so realistic.
I know, and that's the problem.
You know, we spit real stuff here. So I just. If they, and I know there's two components. There's obviously pass blocking and run blocking, but they've put the capital at the running back position. They took DeAndre Swift very high up in that second round last year.
They got Williams out of Green Bay. They signed him to a 2-year deal.
I was getting to that. The free agent capital they spent there as well. Whatever. I think Kerryon Johnson might get cut, honestly.
I would not be shocked.
But leave him out of it. But all the resources on the offensive line, the draft resources at the position of a running back, and free agency Williams coming from Green Bay. If this isn't the year, I'm not saying top 5 rushing attack. They haven't finished top half. Give me like the 12th best. Is that asking too much?
15th.
15th qualified, like, the highest they've done.
Exactly. I would not be. And they do have all the tools with Schnellenberger, with Jonah Jackson on the inside, mean guards. Don't forget Hawkinson blocks. That's what was the big thing for why they wanted him so high. Yeah. Not only can he catch, the guy is, he'll block all your ends. He'll block the edge rushers, yada, yada. There's nothing that would suggest we wouldn't be able to, like you said, at least get top half, which is not average. Be an average rushing team.
Yeah.
That's not asking for a lot.
No. And you see, like, even really flawed, mediocre teams like you've seen historically, the Dolphins have done it 3 or 4 times in the past 2 decades where like they're bad, they're 5-11, but like they have a really good rushing attack.
Right.
You see other teams that like Jacksonville went to the conference title game with a very shaky offense, but a great defense. But it's like the Lions, if the offensive line isn't really good, and I think really good, it's not just avoiding sacks. It's like being able to actually
push
the ball.
People around. Yeah.
Right. If they can't run the ball this year, this rebuild is off to a calamitous start.
Absolutely.
Because they got nothing. If they can't hang their hats on running the fucking ball and giving me an 8th, 9th, 10th best rushing attack in the league, not asking for much, given all the resources tied into that unit, if they can't do that, they fail year one. And they have a long runway.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the whole thing's a disaster, but they fail year one. They're going to be bad. Objectively, on the whole, macro view, bad.
Yeah,
I want to see tangible progress. If these assholes go out there and have the 28th, 29th best rushing attack, again, despite multiple assets being piled into the running back room, multiple assets, including the biggest one this year on the offensive line, I am going to immediately start to question, well, I already have, but even more so, this whole thing. Is that fair? They have to at least be good in this one lane.
Yeah, there's nothing that suggests that should not be. Again, you're not asking for much. What you're asking for is logical. It makes sense. When you draft as many offensive linemen as we have, when you commit to a tight end who apparently is the best blocking tight end since Gronk, you get another tight end out of New Orleans who can block. You invest, you draft a running back, you sign a relatively, in Jamal Williams, a good running back from Green Bay to a 2-year deal. You're investing so much. There's nothing that says you should not do this. And if you cannot pull off you're asking for top 10, top 15. Number 15 overall rushing attack. 90-something yards a game. How about that? Nothing crazy. Something that suggests you are a NFL franchise that actually can move a football by handing it to a running back like they have forever. Something that suggests you're able to do that. And what they want to run a 2 yards in a cloud of dust kind of offense. That's what we're moving towards. So if you can't even run the offense in which you are suggest that you want to run, what are we doing here? Because Goff isn't going to go out there and sling it for 400 yards. That's not why you got him. We know he's a bridge guy. We know he's there for 2 years until we suck so bad we got to draft, hopefully, the franchise guy that comes in and does the Trevor Lawrence thing and saves us from internal damnation. But if you can't at least run the ball, NFL is built off of running the ball and playing defense. And if you invest this much and you still can't do it, like you said, there's going to be some serious questions already out of the gate year one to be like, well, what the hell are we doing here?
And that's going to be the metric. The metric of how it's going is not going to be wins and losses. It's not going to be margin of defeat.
No.
It's going to be, for me, I just only talking for myself. This is where they've put the resources. Do they gain ground, literally and figuratively, in that lane? They can go 2-14, 3-13, have the league's worst defense. But if they have the 12th best rushing attack, something we haven't seen in 25 years, okay, you had a major issue of concern.
Right.
You allocated resources to address that concern, and look, it got better. We all know it's not going to be pretty on the whole.
No,
but you've tackled, you've conquered the first.
Yeah. This team is going to suck. We're not saying like if you
Everybody knows that.
We're not saying if you get a good rushing attack, we're all of a sudden going to go, 11-6 now or 10-7, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
No,
it's going to take me so long.
I know. Same here. But
fuck that up for like 5 years before dialing that.
Exactly. But you're still going to blow. But like you mentioned, at least you'll be happy to know this is no longer an area of concern. At least we finished with the number 13 rushing attack. We have that solidified. Let's go figure out what else we can build upon, because there's certainly quite a lot more that we need to build upon on this team.
You and I are sitting here saying that we expect them to go, 2-15 now?
It'd be 2-15 now.
2-15. Yeah. And we'll be considering it a success if they're like okay in one aspect of football.
Absolutely.
And we're told that we're unreasonable. And
how dare us for asking an NFL franchise to do something that an NFL franchise should be able to do? The nerve.
At least once every 3 decades. I mean, maybe
the
not on the
nerve
regular,
of you. We're not asking for a playoff.
There's people out there.
We're not asking for a Super Bowl. We're literally asking for you to be competent in one aspect of football.
Has Ben told you how much shit I get? People think I'm like the worst person ever. I take a step back and it's like
I've known you for a couple hours. I like you. I don't understand what the problem. What's wrong with you guys?
Apparently it's mean to expect decent results. I was told I was ungrateful for Jim Caldwell. It's like, I'm sorry.
Oh, so was I. So was I. So was I. We're going 9-7. What's the problem? It's like, if you don't know what the fucking problem is, you're the fucking problem.
Well, they contribute to the problem. And it's like, what do you think of Matt Patricia? Hey, guess what? They're both bad. One's really, really bad. One's just bad.
Exactly. Is Matt Patricia so much better? No, but that doesn't mean this guy didn't suck.
I mean, if you have like a guy going around hacking people to death with a machete, and then the guy next to him is just stealing money from people, it's like, the fucking machete guy's worse. It doesn't mean I want the thief running for mayor.
What an analogy! What an analogy!
But that's what it's true.
I completely agree.
Jim Caldwell has become like this latter-day saint in Lions Nation for so many people.
I've seen so many memes just like what we looked like with Jim Caldwell, what it looks like with Patricia. Why would we get rid of this guy?
The miss me yet? Like Jim Caldwell staring like a cigar store Indian,
1,000 of them
staring into the abyss. Miss me yet? I mean, the guy could walk in on his wife cheating on him, and the guy's facial expression wouldn't change. On principle alone, the guy was infuriating to watch. But if that's your idea of a good time, 9-7, going on the road in the wild card round and getting blasted, which happened twice.
It didn't.
New Orleans, not with Caldwell, once with Caldwell, but again with Jim Schwartz too earlier. It's like that does nothing for me. So I'm sorry, it does nothing for me.
I just don't want a coach that wears 2 watches.
Well, that's very suspect.
That's just, I mean,
that's one too many.
Can you trust any man who wears 2 watches? I don't think you can.
No, definitely not. I don't, just like I didn't trust the guy that has a pencil in his ear despite having a laminated piece of paper. I don't know the science of that one. But look, I mean, the bottom line is, it's the same thing with like diets. Like, there's actual data out there that it's like 96, 97% of diets fail within a year, and people either return to their original weight or actually backslide even worse.
Mm-hmm.
The reason for it is people go from eating McDonald's to I'm motivated, I'm going to eat kale,
get in the
celery,
gym. Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Ben Augusta diet,
keto.
Like lettuce and stuff. Like, whatever Ben eats, like a fucking rabbit. So, the Ben diet. So, but you can't sustain that, so they fucking boomerang and then they binge.
Watch me.
Watch me. Oh, you pissed him off.
I got to be really careful with the guy who controls the camera.
I'm just going to say, he's going to turn off all the lights and we're screwed.
He's done a good job, but he could turn on me at any moment.
Instantly.
So I got to be careful.
Instantly.
But here's the point. The reason those things fail is because you're going big right out the gate, right? I'm going to go right to the Ben diet, right? Doesn't work. It boomerangs back. The Lions, they got a long way to go. I'm only asking for this very small little thing. The average in the category you have dumped truck full of resources into. That's at the end of this year.
Average,
right? Not good,
right? You're not saying
be good,
be dominant, be great, be good. Average.
Given the resources allocated, I think good is actually a very reasonable expectation. But I'm not even great. Go 2 steps below that.
Average,
right?
Average.
And so look, I talk about this on this show a lot. I hate ambiguity in sports debates because there's always some fucking weasel that, what do you mean Lamar Jackson isn't a great quarterback? You never said he was going to win titles. It's like, no, you said he was going to win Super Bowls. Now you're saying, because he won the MVP, I was wrong. It's like, no, I said he will never win a Super Bowl. I didn't say he couldn't win games in the regular season. I know you're a big Lamar Jackson guy.
I'm a big Lamar Jackson guy.
I want concrete criteria for what we expect, what would we be not even happy with, but what would we consider a legitimate sign in the good basket? That's mine. I don't have 5 of them. I have 1.
Yeah.
Now, if there could be other things that are good. If Jared Goff looks like a world beater, great. Then that can be added to the pile. But I have set a bar so low. I mean, my 6-month-old could walk over it. He can't walk yet.
He can't walk yet.
The bar is so low, it's basically the ground. It's not even elevated.
Yeah, it's yeah.
If you can't get over that, given this Penei Sewell pick, that's where I think they fucking blew it and should have traded out. I'm basing the entire Sewell pick, not the entire Sewell, but the Sewell pick in year 1, as it was at a good step 1 in this rebuild.
Yeah.
I am basing it based on that rushing metric. If these assholes go back out there and do the same shit, what little tiny sliver of faith I have is gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's where I'm at with this thing. All that cynicism and bitching aside, it's a good pick, I think. I'm good with it.
There's, like you said, A-. I mean, is there a chance Goff goes out there and pulls a Ryan Tannehill?
Here's the thing. You said he's only a bridge quarterback. I have said I can live in a world. I can see a world. Not that far off in my imaginary world.
Yeah.
I can see a place where Jared Goff's actually pretty good. I talked about it with Dave Burkett on the show. Everybody's saying, Jared Goff, you got to play action the opponent to death. He can only do play action. That's how he thrived.
Correct.
That's not true. If you talk to the people that have coached him prior, if you talk to Jared Goff himself, he didn't like play action in college. He was a pro-style shotgun quarterback. Read, throw, boom, balls out.
If you actually look at his tape in Cal, he was the kind of guy who could look down the barrel. He would get hit and still make the throws. He's a tough kid.
That's not only something he can do, his preferred style of play, right from the horse's mouth, is that. He doesn't even like the play action stuff. So he was a number 1 overall pick on the basis of a style that we're now told he can't play.
Right.
Even though they never even tried it in LA. So, I think the Lions, they're never going to run a play action, obviously, but they're going to, I think, try to play more to what he considers his strengths to be. And look, at the end of the day, if you're the first overall pick in the NFL draft, you got something going for you.
Yeah.
Jamarcus Russell was busted between the ears.
He was busted between the ears.
He has a world-class talent.
Yeah, he couldn't stop eating donuts.
Yeah, well, that too. Discipline and not watching film and stuff. Jared Goff ain't that. He's a hard worker.
Yeah.
He's got talent. So it's like, no, I'm not saying he's a top 5 going to win the MVP, but I don't buy this whole thing like Jared Goff, he's a fucking joke. We're just biding our time.
He's not trash.
No,
he's a good NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
He's not Stafford.
No. Well, that's why all the capital came along with him to Detroit.
But again, you have these people, like you said, these lion slappies who are just like, why would we get rid of Stafford when this guy is even worse? What are we doing here? And it's like, it's called a rebuild, you dipshit.
Anti-trading Stafford people, which thankfully there were fewer than I anticipated.
Same here, yeah.
I expected it to be a much bigger blowback. People were like, I was pleasantly surprised by how it was embraced, but those people were out there that were like upset about it. It's like the guy asked to get out of here. I mean, it's like,
what do you want? And the haul we got was, how could you be mad?
Oh, it was a great trade. And here's I'll leave it at this. I don't want to drag too long because I actually want to get back to the TV myself. But I want to finish on this. I've been a huge critic of the Ford family. Again, I haven't had a nice word to say. The one thing I'll say that's encouraging about Sheila Ford Hamp, and there's a lot that's not encouraging. The Dan Campbell thing's a nightmare.
Correct.
The fact that her and Rod Wood are doing the Macarena in personnel meetings also bad.
Rod Wood.
There's a lot that I don't like. Did you see the tape of Rod Wood?
Yeah.
Doing the fucking break dance after they pick Sewell tonight? Yeah. It's just bad optics. We're told 100 times this guy has something to do with football ops. He's in every football ops.
Such a professional organization.
Dude, you know how many times if I Googled it, I'm freaked. That news. Rod Wood is not associated with the football ops. And then he's in every meeting.
Yeah.
I help run a nursing home. They have meetings that I have nothing to do with, and I'm not sitting in them. Like, when the nurses meet to talk about MedPass, I'm not like crashing the meeting. It has nothing to do with me.
While they say you have no affiliate with a nursing.
Yeah, like, hey, he's not a nurse, but yeah, he's going to sit here.
Bring him in.
Well, I mean, I'm technically their boss, but I don't need to be there. Like, it doesn't make any operational sense.
Correct.
So, but I digress. There's a million bad things I've said about Sheila Ford Hamp. I have no faith in it. The one thing I'll say, I don't think the old Ford guard would have let Matthew Stafford go. We saw how petty they were with Barry Sanders. We saw how petty they were with Calvin Johnson. I think her two predecessors, each of her parents, would have said, you're under contract, you're stuck. Do you agree with that?
Well, yes, 1,000,000%. William Clay Ford would have been you. You have a contract.
Definitely
you have to, Oh, yeah. You have
Martha,
to honor
maybe.
your contract.
I'm saying no.
I love Jim Caldwell.
Yeah. No, I don't think she would have. I think she would have expected him to honor his contract because she can't absolve her. Look how she's been with Calvin. Sheila Ford Hamp, it's not completely resolved with Calvin, but since she took over, they've made efforts towards that end.
It's been building better,
Those efforts weren't going on with Martha Ford. So I don't think Martha Ford would have gone for it either, but a little more likely than William Clay Ford, who would have never accommodated that. And we agree, I think, it was the right move to accommodate it, to reset the deck.
Yes.
So that's the one thing that I can say, because everything else seems like the same old shit. Rod Wood's a family friend. Right, it is. Rod Wood, they got another family friend involved way too much. So there's some bad signs there. But the one big, it's not small. I mean, moving off your franchise quarterback is a huge decision. She went forward with that. It was the right thing to do. That's encouraging. So that's the one thing I'll say.
The Lions like to do what Michigan likes to do. Michigan likes to find a Michigan man. Lions love to find someone who has family ties.
It's their buddy,
and
Tom Mowan.
Related. I don't get why.
I mean, Chuck Schmidt, Tom Mowan's dad was William Clay Ford's buddy. Like they were drinking buddies.
So they got to hire him then, right?
Right. I mean, Rod Wood is the only team president in football that got up in front of the media for the first time as he's introduced in Allen Park and explicitly stated that he wasn't qualified
I shouldn't be here right now.
Yeah. Hey, nice to meet you, ladies and gentlemen of the media. You know, Justin Rogers, hey, nice tie. Oh, by the way, I'm not qualified. I have no business being here. I mean, what is the precedent?
Off to a crackerjack start.
It wasn't not just the first day. It was the first minute.
Out the gate. This is the first thing you say is, hi, great to see you. How's everyone doing? By the way, the fuck am I doing here?
You can't get through the press conference without, I mean, come on. Like, I mean, Matt Millen was calling people cowardly and, gay slurs, but he made it to year 2 before that stuff started happening. I mean, it's like, can I get through the introductory press conference of the team president without the guy's foot was so far in his mouth it was coming back out his ass, and it's like it's typical.
You're killing me.
No, it's true.
I know.
He's
true.
a family friend. He's an accountant. Like, come on. I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he runs a hell of a balance sheet. I'm not saying he can't even be on the team payroll. Why is he in football operation meetings? Why? It makes absolutely no sense. Sheila Ford Ham's crashing these meetings. Okay. She's the owner. She can do whatever she wants. Rod Wood? What's Rod Wood doing here?
Running numbers. Running numbers.
And then they asked Brad Holmes and Rod Wood at a press conference like a month ago, asked them separately. They said the same thing. Like, I thought Rod Wood wasn't involved in the football ops. Why is he in these meetings? Oh, it's a collaborative effort. It's all a team. Why? He's not a football guy. He told you. Presumably he's a fan of himself. Everybody likes themselves a little bit. Like, he told you he doesn't belong in these conversations. What's he in the room doing? The fact that they said, Sheila said it, Brad Holmes has said it, Rod Wood has said it. They've said it. It's on tape. All three of them have said that this guy is a part of the football decisions because he's in the meetings, and together we will make a decision.
Avengers.
Why is he part of that?
Only the Lions would have a team president who is not a football guy be a part of football operations.
Right. There are other team presidents in the league, because I looked it up at the time. I found more than like 2 or 3. Half of them don't have like this huge like scouting background and more business. But even like Tom Lalonde, who's a total nincompoop, but like he mostly stayed in his lane. He's not chiming in on the draft pick. The Lions are telling us that Rod Wood, that the numbers guy, the pencil pusher, is sitting in on these meetings and has an equal voice. That's them saying that. Don't get mad at me.
Right. The non-football guy has equal football decision-making power with the football people.
How did this become such a wide-ranging discussion? This team has done serious damage to my psyche and well-being. But look, at the end of the day, I am a Lions fan. It might be tough to buy.
Same here.
I'm still I'll be at the parade if they ever figure it out.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I think we're in the same basket. A- tonight.
A-, B+, A-, trending more closer to A-.
Right. So we're lockstep there. Finish here, and then we'll get out of here.
Yes.
Second round pick tomorrow.
Ooh.
Even you don't even have to name a name, just position. It's gotta be defense unless the board is so tilted. You got a guy 20 spots higher, and he's an offensive player. That's fine because they need a lot of receiver help too.
Yeah.
But they gotta go defense.
You gotta go defense. Benny, who's your boy out of Notre Dame who you like so much?
Owusu.
Yes, Jeremiah Owusu, the
Koromoa.
Owusu, my man.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, one more time, please, just like you did.
Owusu Komoromoa.
Oh, baby.
That was some caramel voice there, man.
Hey, man, listen, his voice smooth like butter, baby.
Take a shower after.
I would I would love him with the second round pick. I've been praising, maybe not second round, but day 2. If you can snag Nico Collins in the third round, I would be flabbergasted. I'd be blown away. I'd be so happy. But with this second pick, I think you gotta go. Who's our linebackers?
I'm of the position
like
I mean, you look at you're not a baseball guy, but like the LA Angels have had the worst pitching staff in baseball for like 10 years. I mean, are one of the 3 worst. They're just wasting Mike Trout's career. And I said, like, once you're to that point, I would just draft every single pick, pitcher.
Until you get it right.
First round to the 10th round. Don't even, because you have a great offense. Like, you have a decent farm system, bats coming up. I'd draft 25 pitchers every year for 5 years. And like, some of these fucking guys
someone's got to stick.
The Lions in a smaller window. But like the rest of this draft, if they just took the top defensive player on their board all day tomorrow and all day the following day, I think that's not a bad way to go.
I completely agree 100%. There'd be no reason why that would not be. Best corner on the board. Is that sure? Best linebacker on the board. Sure. We need help all over the defensive side of the ball. I mean, honestly, who are our linebackers? Jelani Tavai and
the corpse of Jamie Collins.
Thank you. And the corpse and Jamie Collins, post Cleveland Browns, Jamie Collins.
The guy that I really like, and it's a deviation from what I just said, is De'Ami Brown from my North Carolina Tar Heels.
The receiver.
Program. Yeah.
He's good.
I want him to go heavy defense, but like I think that guy, I totally agree with Chris Sims was big on like De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown's like a top 3 receiver, top 3, top 4 in the draft. He's really high on him. I just, Tar Heel fan, so watch their games. He's very good. So
Look at that UNC blue shining off that
this
shirt.
wasn't really planned. This is what I was wearing, and we kind of ran out of time, and I just hopped on. But hey, look, I think that guy's going to be really, really good. So if you want to, if you think you can get like a stud receiver in the second round, which is very possible, that would be defensible. But no, I don't want to see a running back. I don't want to see. Don't touch that offensive line again.
Not anymore. No,
I don't want a project quarterback, defense or wide receiver. Those are the only acceptable avenues tomorrow.
Well, if Bob Quinn was still here, we'd know we'd be getting a long snapper with the 5th round pick.
Yeah, the very inspired draft picks from that asshole. The smartest man in the room syndrome was so infuriating.
Oh my God! Don't even get me.
Do you remember the feedback when they drafted Tavai? Everyone, it's like in the fantasy league when someone takes a kicker second overall, and it's you can't even second round. I mean, you can't even find them on your sheet. You're on page 9. It's everyone's just it guy's in the second round pick. Every beat writer, every football analyst is saying, I had a 5th, 6th round draft
game. Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah,
smartest man in the room. I'm telling you, man, he's gonna blow up, man. Gonna blow up. Really? No.
Yeah, he did blow up in one sense, I guess.
And that's our starting middle linebacker, which is why you gotta go linebacker second round.
If they drafted, I know the defensive line was weak at the top of this draft, but there's some intriguing guys in that, with 2nd, 3rd, 4th round grades. If they wanted to go linebacker, D-line.
Great. Awesome.
That's what.
Awesome.
Next year, you can look at who knows how it's going to follow quarterbacks in that, but I want them going 80% defense from here on out. But that's just where I'm at.
If you pick one offensive position, it should be receiver, and then after that, there should just be corner, linebacker, D-end, safety, whatever you can snag. That's the best defensive player available on your board.
I want Ben to put a little star in his spiral notebook before we finish. De'Ami Brown, North Carolina. Guy will be good. I'm telling you right now. He's sitting there on the board right now. ESPN, I pulled it up, has him as the 13th best receiver, still available now. So he's they had him 20th overall.
Wow.
Guy's so undervalued. That guy's going to fucking ball in the NFL. You watch. I'm telling you, De'Ami Brown, if he's there, ESPN's telling me I'm an asshole for saying the second round is appropriate. I would be good with that. Anybody but him, defense. I know you like Nico Collins. I'd be okay with that.
I said 3rd round, just 6'4", 225, 4'4",
He'd be an intriguing 3rd round.
Yeah.
And that's, look, I'm no fan of Michigan, but he's a specimen. So anyway, it was fun, Gabriel, man.
Thank you so much for having me on, brother.
Oh, you're welcome. You're the co-host of the What Up Doe podcast.
Yeah, the What Up Doe Sports Entertainment, the What Up Doe Sports and Entertainment podcast. The lovely producer who's behind these doors is also on this show, producing and slightly hosting with me. It's a sports podcast, much like this one, just debate concepts where we go, UFC, NFL, NBA. College athletics, and it's just this one, shooting the shit, good old fashioned sports debate, but not like the kind you see on the BSPNs or the CBSs. We do that good content for everyone. I highly suggest everyone check it out. I really, really would appreciate it.
I highly recommend it. You have the reason I like your show when I've checked it out is a lot of people growing up liked wrestling. I liked wrestling as a kid too, and everyone's favorite was The Rock, Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels. My favorite was Jimmy Hart and Jim Cornette. Just the fucking talkative, loudmouth.
You gotta love it.
Well, you're like me. You got a big mouth like me, and that's a compliment for me. I like big mouths.
As do I. Listen, I can't say you're wrong.
Yeah.
That show is full of big mouths.
It's the 2 biggest mouths in all of sports,
yeah.
baby. And for the record, I was a Ric Flair guy all the way. Just
woo!
For the woo!
Well, hopefully we're wooing tomorrow with a riveting, rollicking second round.
Riveting, rollicking. I'm liking the R play.
You like the alliteration.
I'm like the R play.
So this has been, Ben, let's put this as a Spiro Avenue show, even though it was abbreviated and sort of off the cuff. But, let's file it under a impromptu Spiro Avenue show. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much.
You'll be on my wall with Paul Bunyan next week. So
I'm with it.
Look, we have a lot of fun stuff we're working on here in terms of guests. Some are long shots that are in play. Some are definitely happening, just a matter of the day. So definitely stick with us. Look, we have one interesting Michigan guest I'm working on. I'm not going to spoil that, but some really good Michigan State guests coming as well. So
baby.
Hang in there with us. I'm going to try to get Justin Rogers on, although he's kind of cheating on me with the Woodward Sports guys lately. So I don't know about that. I'm going to make him get tested before he comes back in. I don't know what kind of chlamydia he's gotten. So anyway, Justin Rogers, hopefully in next week. That's the rumor mill. I'd love to have him in Detroit News, Detroit Lions beat writer. It was great to have you, Gabriel.
Great to be on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for spending your draft night with us, like kind of working, I guess. I know it was not the normal shit I put you through in terms of production, but a lot coming down the line. Lions, I'm fascinated to see what they do. Just give me a top half of the league rushing attack.
Not asking for much.
Not asking for much.
Not asking for much.
Spiro Avenue Show, Justin Spiro. We'll see you next week.
Peace out, y'all.